I guess you wonder where I've been.
What's up, guys? Hope you are having an amazing day. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be doing something different. I have my buddies here. I have Aaron and I have Robbie here. Robbie have been on the channel before, but like
2018,
long time ago. We did a critiquing our own photos. That was like a 25 to 30 minutes long. So if you want to go see that, go all the way back in the list of the videos, critiquing our own photos with Ezra. Ezra is not here with me or with us today, so
we can drop it in the description below.
Actually, they have the card thing. I don't know which side it goes, but you know, we're gonna link it up there. But yeah, today we just went for a walk. Went to see our art show at the gallery. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this. We're just gonna be talking about stuff, photography, camera, and I hope you guys enjoy. So welcome to the channel.
Thanks for having me. My name's Aaron. What I do at World of Photography is not very important. I just exist there. I take photos. I exist. That's about it. But yeah, we just went with a walk. We went on a walk. I picked up a Nikon ZF. Let's not talk about Nikon.
No, we will talk about Nikon, but before we come back to you picking up a Nikon, they are going to be saying Nikon. I'm going to be saying Nikon because saying Nikon sounds weird. So we're going to be talking about your Nikon camera and why you picked it up. But let's go to Robbie. You've been on here before, but just for the people that do not know you, tell us who you are and what you do.
I'm Robbie, Ohio, as known on Instagram, street photographer, full-time content creator, real estate. You know, I just walk the streets daily, taking fine art photos of what I love. So that's me.
And actually, Robbie is featured in our magazine. So if you haven't seen the magazine yet, or if you haven't picked one up yet, I'm going to leave the description. I'm going to leave the link in the description below. I always say that. I don't know why I say that, but I'm going to leave the link in the description below to check it out. Check out Robbie's work in KBANA Magazine.
Street photographer section.
Yeah, and he is the cover for the street photography genre section. So
Mainly blessed on that. Appreciate
it was
y'all.
an honor to have you, bro.
It's an honor to be in it, for real.
Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna go back to Aaron because I feel like you are the topic of the day, bro.
Great.
You have two S Pro 3s, ST5, two ST3s. You have the GFX 100.
100S. Yep.
Why pick up a Nikon ZF?
Well, so one, the big thing with this camera is it's basically a full frame XT2. Let's be honest here. It's a full frame XT2. That's what it is. That's what it is. Okay, so now before I get to the point of like actually just completely ripping Nikon apart, let me talk about something in particular that I really appreciate that Nikon has done. So while like all their other cameras and everything have been an absolute shit show of them figuring out exactly what they need to do, one thing that they have done consistently, which is I think is much smarter than most of the brands, well, Canon does it too, but it took them a second. So what they do is they make their lens mount much larger than it needs to be. So because of its size, it actually lets in 33% more light than like any of the other brands, it being so damn close.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So that's kind of why it has a bit of a magic to it. So like those 1.2 lenses, it seems like they almost gather way more light than they need to, but that's also the same reason why they don't make any 1.4s. They don't need to.
Gotcha.
You're with 33% more light at a 1.8, and it's like, sure, you can shoot at ISO 2000. Then it's like, what would be the necessary reason to have a 1.4? So at least in that sense, they've gotten it together. They've come a long way from their motor drive cameras and non-motor drive cameras and motor drive lenses, and then I could go on with everything that they've done that's absolutely ridiculous. The big thing that they did that was completely fucked up was release a crop sensor of this camera before the full frame.
The ZFC.
I mean, I'm not even going to give them any shit for releasing it in teal, but like...
I had never like really paid attention to the ZFC. I mean, when it came out, I heard about it, saw it on social media, but I was never interested. But when they released the ZF, I was interested because I mean the ZFC kind of looked like a film camera as well. That was the style they were trying to go for.
Right, exactly.
And it caught many attention, but for some reason, I wasn't paying attention to it until the ZF. The moment I saw the ZF, I'm like, I'm getting that. I haven't yet, but it's still like a camera that I would really love to have.
Right.
So,
well, yeah, no one paid attention to the crop sensor because a Fuji X-T2 already existed.
I guess that's right, because I think before they released that, Fuji had already taken the crop sensor market.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, and that brings me to Robbie. We used to have Canon 6D, you, me, and Ezra, and you were the first to switch to Fuji, and you've been Fuji since then. Now, tell us how many Fujis you have now, and the question that I want to ask is why you've stuck with Fuji.
So, like, I had the 6D, and I was shooting street photography with like a 50 mil and a battery grip on that joint when I first started, you know?
Yeah.
But I think overall it's just the compact size. Like I got the Fuji X100F at the same time as having the Canon 6D. And I took that to Toronto with me on a trip. Yeah, I took that on Toronto with me for a trip. That was the only camera I brought, you know, fixed lens, fixed focal, you know. And I just loved it. I loved the size. Like my images were still amazing. I love the setup, the aperture ring on the lens, like just everything. It was more hands-on. It felt great. It just naturally felt great. And after that, I traded the 6D and all the gear I had with that, and I traded my Fuji X100F for the first X series, which was the XT3, which I think what I mean, I wish I had it still. I'll get another one. It's nothing. But now I have the XT3, the XT4, and the XT5. Like XT3 kind of just sits on the shelf as a marketing piece, or you know, I loan it out to you or whoever needs something. The XT4 I use a lot in the real estate content creation I do, and the XT5 is strictly just like my travel street photography camera. But I did have a RICO GR3 at once as well, and I love that camera
because like still for the way, I mean, your work, the way you shoot and the style and all that, I feel like the RICO, and you like minimal stuff.
Very much so.
So why did you get rid of the RICO?
I don't know if I like the 28 millimeter focal length as much. When I had it, I didn't like that it, like the screen. I couldn't hit lower angles, you know? Even though like a lot of the time, which is wild, I hardly use my viewfinder these days, depending on what I'm doing, because I'm shooting from the hip, shooting low, whatever. But I couldn't tilt it out, so it was just difficult. But I would definitely get another RICO. But I'd probably get the
well, there is the GR3X, which is a full 40 mil equivalent. So you're gonna get that?
I've been wanting it for sure. I'm definitely thinking about it because I've been traveling a lot more lately. Like hit South America this year and Asia.
Your recent trip, we talked and you weren't taking much photos. You were using more of your iPhone.
My iPhone just strictly because I needed a point and shoot something smaller.
What was the experience like shooting, like coming from, I know we all take photos with iPhones, but like using it specifically for something that you would have used the camera, what was the experience like?
I mean, it was just convenient to be able to do it, to still be able to capture my look. Right. There's only one photo maybe out of like the 5 I took that I really enjoyed that I printed out, and I was like, okay.
How was that? How did that look?
The one photo looks great, but the other one's like, but still, they still hold a place in my heart though.
What size?
Just 11 by 17, just something small, but still, just they look.
Because a lot of people, I mean, recently there was a conversation on Thread, which I started, about printing your work. And there's also that conversation about megapixels and sensor size and all that, relating to how big you print and if the print is going to look good based on the sensor size that you have.
So it will be very interesting to see. I mean, I'm sure people out there are already printing iPhone photos, but how does it look compared to photos that you've taken with your actual like professional camera?
The one I enjoy, it looks good. I think it's closer, but the other ones, the things I was focused on were further in the distance, and also I have an iPhone 12 still, so it's an older one at that. You know what I mean? So. Yeah, I mean, it looks like an iPhone photo just blown up. Like it's a black and white. It's an iPhone photo blown up. The one though, it doesn't look bad at all at that size. It's like, you know, you look at it from a distance, you're like, hell yeah. It's just naturally shot good as well.
Would you have preferred to have like a RICO?
Yeah, for sure. I wish I would have just pulled my camera out of my bag, but like we were just hitting so many boats and there was so much water. I was like, a RICO for sure. That size is just amazing.
Have you ever owned any RICO camera?
I have a RICO R1 and a RICO R1S. They're both 35 millimeter point and shoots.
But not you've not shot the digital yet.
No, because cameras without a viewfinder are abominations and they should all be thrown away.
Bro, what are you talking about? I can't put that. I have a Sony RX100 and it's one of the fun cameras that I have to shoot. What are you talking about?
And you use the back screen?
I do use the back screen. I do actually love using it.
You should throw your XT5 away. You know, there's two things that make you look like a tourist: wearing a fucking fanny pack in the front and shooting with the back screen of your camera all extended out.
Have you ever taken a photo that you would have taken with your camera but on your iPhone?
Yeah, and then I immediately want to break my phone in half.
That's where I'm going, because if you are saying that if you shoot without a viewfinder, then you shoot with your iPhone.
Yeah. What are you trying to tell us, bro?
Put your iPhones away. You have all these fancy cameras. Put your iPhones away. Use your.
I just want to ask you a question. I mean, I'm just trying to defend my homie.
Please,
you shoot a lot of fine detailed things though. Like you shoot a lot of portraits, things you need fine detail in. Me, it's like street. The things you're shooting on your point and shoot are street. It's not fine detail. You're not gonna be in here shooting like the medium format images on your point and shoot, just using a back screen.
Actually,
short. I did.
Okay.
So we recently were commissioned to do a piece for a client, and I shot 4x5. I shot my Fuji GSW90, and I shot the Sony RX100, and putting it side by side. I mean, that thing is, the sensor is this size,
right,
but it's 20 megapixels, and if I printed that even this big, I'm sure it will be able to hold that. The quality is there, so Aaron might not do that, but I would, and I enjoy it.
Let me ask you something. Are y'all using autofocus when you use the back screen?
Yes.
Yeah, turn that shit off. Use manual focus, and then we'll reconvene in like a month and have this exact same conversation, and then we'll see what I'm.
Why? Okay, now let's take like 2 steps back, and then come back to the Nikon setup.
Yeah, sure. Why
So
not?
we were talking about it today about how much the menu system on Nikon cameras suck.
Oh my god.
As much as I love this camera, that is the one thing that I feel like Nikon can do better at, that because you cannot find anything.
Nope. It's all hidden. It's all weird. I will say this. A lot of the people that have complained to me about Sony's menus were like, you know, have since switched to like shooting like Z8, Z9, Z6 II. Those people are no longer credible to me because they were confused by the Sony's menu, and it's like, at least the Sony's menu, everything's there. You just have to you have to just scroll to find it. There's like shit hidden in menus upon menus upon menus for the dumbest thing. You know how hard it was for me to turn off the auto ISO? There's a fucking dial on the camera that is manual ISO, and I still had to look into a setting to make sure to turn it off. What kind of...
I just want y'all to know that there's also it's a confusing camera. Is it a Z or is it a Z? Is it a Nikon or is it an Nikon? It has so many different names.
Listen.
I'm sure for like
Fuji.
Believe it.
anybody
Other than America will say Nikon. Here, that's the
least confusing part about Nikon. Listen, listen, dear Nikon, hold on.
So you are saying that's the reason why you don't like
It's a confusing camera.
Now let's talk. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about how confusing Nikon as a company is. Nikon, dear Nikon, I have some questions for you. I gotta take the glasses off for this. Nikon. So when you were making lenses and things like that, I completely understand you made cameras with a motor drive in them, and then you made the D. I hope so. You made the D series lenses, and then you had motor drives in the cameras, and then you released like what the 3000, 5000 series, and then you were like, here is a whole new set of lenses that you can only use with this, but don't use any of the ones that don't have the motor drive. Listen, you can single-handedly f***ed up a lot of people's inspiration. You know how many people got excited to get into photography, and then they buy a 5000 or they bought a 5600 and they were like, oh cool, look at this cheap 51.8, this will be great for my camera, not realizing that they needed a motor drive in the goddamn camera. Listen, what the are you guys doing over there? You know what, we'll talk later, we'll talk more about that.
Let's cool down here and then
settle down,
brother.
You're gonna get me canceled.
You got a lot of bleeps. You feel me?
I can't wait.
This is not made for children.
I can't wait. It's gonna be just beep beep beep.
So no Nikon shooter can even watch this if it's not meant for children.
Okay,
It's crazy.
give the microphone back to here.
So let's circle back, okay?
Hold on. Let me ask you this.
Okay.
What do you actually like about the camera? Okay. So
At first, I thought I had a problem with the ergonomics of it because it does have like a more of a shallow grip on it. Believe it or not, it really isn't that bad. Yeah, sure, I still have a grip coming for it, but in the meantime, it really wasn't that bad.
My microphone is turned off.
So we've been doing this entire episode, and the microphone over here has been turned off. So this is going to be a one-sided conversation.
Fire-ass episode. No, Honor.
This is great. I absolutely enjoy this. So, okay. So,
All right, so we are back. All this time, all this while, I thought my microphone was recording and it was off. So if my sound is gonna sound terrible, I apologize. I'm gonna try to pick it up from one of these microphones. So we'll see. Well,
Are you filming on?
I'm filming. The main camera is the Fuji ST5, and then this one that switched to the black and white is the ST4 with the 23 1.4 lens on it that I just borrowed from you. Actually, both lenses I borrowed from you. Yeah. So, Aaron, I feel like we need. What do you like to cool you down?
okay, let me moisten my throat here. Can't.
Before the microphone, we realized that it wasn't recording. I asked you what you liked about the Nikon.
So, well, first, it's full frame, which is badass. And I really say that in a sense of like someone who went from Sony to Fuji. I do miss like full frame, high ISO, like kind of renderings. That was pretty cool. So this does that really well. Weight, I like, it does have a nice weight to it. I do appreciate that. One of the things that I've been kind of just like liking, the black and white switch is absolutely killer. I think that, so I'll say this, I'm going to say this preemptively because we don't know for sure, but I'm just going to say this out loud. I think the switch from being able to go like into, just into black and white is a genius idea. I hope that they never do something as stupid as making a fucking film simulation dial.
Well, we're gonna come back to that, but I feel like this is a good segue to go into that because there is a rumor that Fuji is doing a camera or is going to launch a camera next week actually.
What? Two cameras.
Right. And one of them has a film simulation dial.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about that?
I think the direct correlation is from the switch on this because I feel like while Nikon has its own hurdles to get through, this camera is what they should have given us years ago. But now that they've given it to us, and I mean, it's great. It replaces the Z6 II.
I made a video about this camera, and I said it's the closest to a perfect camera.
Right, absolutely, 100%.
Nikon has ever made.
100%. And I think I don't want to say that it made. I don't think it made Fuji. I don't think they reacted in like kind of like a worry. It's more so they saw that and they saw the reaction to that, and they thought, okay, how can we be as innovative? What's something that we can add? Like, I will say with 100% certainty, if they if they added a dial on, like, say, the point and shoots for the film simulations, I would actually want it to be on the front. Like, instead of just on the
Like
front
a dial.
so I can just hit it. Yeah, you can, while you're shooting, you can just kind of like spin it. That would be pretty cool. I think it going on the top of the camera, I swear to God, if they put it on the XT50, I'm going to be upset. Because out of all the cameras that like should have that camera should not have it. But I think that that's their way of attempting to innovate and do something different, which I think it's a great idea. I personally think the execution of it, from what I've seen in the pictures, the execution of it's kind of terrible. But
Well, what I spend a lot of time on Twitter and Thread. What I've been reading is a lot of people, what people don't like is the fact that you're going to have a dedicated dial for all these film simulations, but then they keep updating and adding other film simulations. So let's say they have, Astia, Velvia and all these, and then they end up either taking one out or like updating with more. Then what happens to the engraving on the dial, and you just have these dial that it's not going to be doing anything afterwards if you have an update or anything like that, and it's taking space. Exactly. So I think the idea of it being like a dial, like a ring, what is it called? A dial. Instead of that, I agree.
so think about it like this. So this is what I think about when I envision this fucking dial. So imagine if it was just like, it was a dial on the top. So like, let's say for example, like something like this, right? Now imagine if on it said C, then B and W, and then C1, C2, C3, C4.
And
so
then
then you can do color simulations.
custom.
You can go you go to color simulations and it brings them all up and you can go through them. Or you go black and white and then you get acros and then you get the black and white one.
Right.
Or there's your custom ones. It's all a dial.
Right.
So then you're able to save all of those. So then it's like, so think about it like in the sense of, like, if you want to use where you're just like, you have access in the camera, you
Right.
just C1, C2, whatever. But if
Yeah.
you still want that hands-on, like, hey, I'm going to change this to black
Right.
and white like they did with the Nikon,
Right.
that would make the most sense. I think that would be a really good idea. They should also put a locking mechanism just like this, so you can't just accidentally spin it. Or imagine if they did it with this.
Ooh.
Imagine if they did it with that, or it's just a
Yes.
dial around, so you can just rotate that all the way.
Now, my concern is when we look at Fuji cameras, most of it has the three dials on the top. My concern is, which one are they going to take off to replace it with the film simulation dial?
If
Do
we're
you
gonna-
think it's going to be the exposure compensation?
I was gonna say, if we're gonna be completely honest, I think the exposure compensation knob can go to hell. I use it, but it's like not the most necessary dial. Like, it can be replaced with something, and I wouldn't be hurt by
I
it.
use it, and I like that it's right there, because like I don't want to, when I'm going to take a photo, and I feel like I want to boost the mostly like shadows is
Right.
what I do, and then mostly when I shoot at night, I'll bring my highlights down. So it's really convenient that they have it right there, and that I don't have to go in the settings or like one of those D-pads to like try to
Right.
get to it. The Sony RX100 has that, and I've set it to like the down button to do that. It's convenient, but you've given me a dial that I'm used to.
What if they, hear me out? What if they did what they do with the X Pros? It's the shutter, and then there's an inside ring,
You raise it.
and that changes the ISO, and then they make that.
Oh,
So it's like they're not necessarily taking a dial away. They're
Right.
just moving. They're just moving that control somewhere else, and then they're giving you something else
I
with the
think
dial.
Fuji need to hire you to design the cameras, because at this point,
They would
You've,
never.
like,
They
really
would.
designed a camera. Right
They would
here.
never hire me to design a camera because they can't even get my fucking X Pro 4 in my hands. So, because no matter what they would put on my desk to design every day, I'd be
Okay.
like, X Pro 4, this is a new mock-up.
I have to say this. Why is photographers never satisfied no matter what camera comes out?
Satisfied.
Because we're growing as artists.
Yeah, you think instead of I like that, but you think instead of growing the craft that we want to grow the tools.
Yeah, because the problem with it is if you think, this is the way that I look at it, I've outgrown cameras way faster than I needed to. Multiple times. That's why it's like I've gotten to a point to where it's not I'm not choosing a camera for what it's capable of and how far I can push it. I've gotten to a point now to where I'm just choosing a camera that I enjoy using. But if I was
that
going,
is what it's come down to.
but if I was going off that, like, okay, I need it to do this, this, and this for what I'm looking to create, I'll never fucking be satisfied. I'll have to upgrade every year because every year they're going to be like, oh, there's this feature. Oh, you're tired of this happening? Well, we've fixed it and we've made it into this. It's like, cool, I need that because I keep fucking running my camera into the ground.
So what are you saying to the film community right now?
The film community?
Yeah. Because that is not
Wait.
updating. It's still old.
Okay.
And I still shoot 4x5.
All right, so I'm gonna say this, and I'm going to stop talking afterwards because it's a very strong stance that I have.
Okay.
I will not be explaining myself. I won't elaborate. And if
Maybe we'll bring him back on next week to it.
and if anyone asks me about it, I'm gonna just look you in your eyes and tell you to grow up. The thing about film photography is, here's how I feel about it.
I already feel hurt.
Film photographers, I understand that the technology for you is not growing. However, you can shoot film and process it and enjoy it for what it is without making it your entire personality.
Well said, brother.
Bro, drop my... You know what? I thought you were going to say something that I was going to fight with you. But I actually agree with you. I'm somewhat guilty of that. Because, like, I love talking about film. I enjoy
absolutely.
film.
Same.
I love the process. I love that I choose what film I shoot. I love that I can... Like, whatever mistake I do... Like, whatever I do in the process of creating the image...
Right.
is on me.
Right, exactly.
And I love that control because then when I create that piece, there is more to it. I think that is what people call the soul.
Yeah.
Here.
I want to go back right quick though.
Okay.
Because you're talking about digital and what needs to be done, what people don't like, and film. It's like having a flip phone and an iPhone. It's like, I don't want all these people hitting me up. It does what it does. It's like it gets the job done.
Right.
I don't have any complaints about my X-T5. I like the size of the lenses. I shoot at 23 millimeter. I shoot what I shoot. I don't have any gadgets. I shoot strictly black and white. I don't care where a label is. It's like how many tools you need to build a house.
See,
Right.
that's the thing.
You got a hammer. That hammers nails. That gets the job done. It builds the structure. That's what, it's a simple tool. I don't need all these things.
With that being said, that's why we are in the minority in the sense because it's the whole thing of it is like some film photographers are worse than like the Christian community because like they seriously are just like, no man, it's not the same.
Yeah.
There's just like something about it, and it's like, but that's the thing though. So and so whenever I say this stuff to people, they always, it's like they think I'm coming from this they think I'm coming from like a jaded place, and it's like, I own a Pentax 6x7. I have a Hasselblad 500 CM. I have a GA645. I shoot black and white. I shoot fucking slide. I process it, scan. I do all that myself. You know what I enjoy about it? I enjoy that process. But I'm not sitting here saying that, oh, film is just so much better.
Are you
and
telling me to go back into my channel and delete every single video that I've made because most of it is about film?
No, it's all
No, I'm telling you that you can enjoy film
Without making
and you
it
can
nice.
enjoy digital.
at the same time.
They're not mutually exclusive, but also, if we're being completely honest, neither one is better than the other. They both exist
agree.
for a purpose.
I agree.
They exist as a change in the times, the change in the technology,
Right.
stuff like that. For every person that's hashtagging fucking Game of Tones with Portra 400 on Instagram, but for some reason it's warm because I know for a fact they use Negative Lab Pro to fucking do it. Negative Lab Pro puts a warming fucking mask on your goddamn film negatives. Stop using it and claiming it's Portra 400, it's Portra 800.
Unless they are printing it in the dark room.
Unless you're printing it in the dark room. The thing about it is, if you're going to be a purist, be a purist. I don't want to see any more Instagram posts.
I mean, for a long time, I didn't own a digital camera.
Right.
And that is because I still enjoyed film and it worked for what I did.
Right.
Until I got to the point where I'm like, okay, I need a digital camera.
Right.
Because I'm doing more videos now. And so then I got the SD5
Exactly.
and then we have the SD4 as
Exactly.
so it is fun that people, shoot both film and digital, and some people
Yeah.
it's okay, they shoot
I love
only
it.
film.
Yeah.
Don't we just want to just allow people to just
Do
whatever they
do
want?
whatever you want, but the second you make it as like the second it becomes like this is better than this. It's the same thing with photography. I'm so sick of people saying, "Oh, Nikon's better than this, Canon's better than this, Fujifilm." It's not. They're all.
Nikon is potato, so
It's you know what the best part about that shit is? Like, you ready for this?
yeah.
It doesn't matter what camera you shoot with. Everyone buys their sensors from Sony, so everyone's shooting a Sony camera.
Is shooting a Sony.
So like, you can't compare them.
But don't you
like-
think that there are people in like Nikon company that is giving Sony like specifics? Look,
Yeah, absolutely.
so
In
it's
fact,
technically not Sony.
the thing that I learned about a lot of these camera brands is all your reps, all the people that are really pushing you to buy those products, they own at least one of like multiple brands. They
That
shoot all
for
of them.
sure,
They
yeah.
they because it's like it's not about the destination, it's the journey. So it's like it doesn't matter what you shoot. You can shoot film, you can shoot digital. It doesn't matter what brand you shoot. It all does the same thing at the end of the day. It captures light and it makes you feel good. If that's what it is,
Here is the
do it.
$1 million question. Are you going to switch completely to Nikon if you end up really falling in love with this ZF?
I can't say that I would, purely because there are some holes in what they provide that don't necessarily fit with what I like to shoot and how I like to shoot. However, I will say, like, even just like for the the few hours that I've had this camera and have been playing with it, it's something that I've added to my collection that I actually enjoy, and I'm like looking forward to actually putting it through its paces because it is a really rad camera.
It is a beautiful camera.
I just feel like I wish they had done it earlier, but like I'm glad they did it nonetheless because it really is a rad camera.
What if they end up releasing like a medium format version of the ZF?
The only way I would go into this is if it focused faster than the GFX.
Well, Nikon, you've heard him.
That's-
If you do that, he's switching.
Yeah, I'll jump ship. I have no
Alright,
brand
so
loyalty.
We have a lot to talk about, but we don't want this video to be like 2 hours long.
True.
Robbie,
It's crackles. I'm over.
when are you getting the RICO?
Yes.
As soon as possible, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah, just for the traveling aspect.
just for the travel.
But I mean, yeah.
Are you going to?
I mean,
I said something on Thread.
I don't know. I might just get rid of all my cameras and only go Rico.
And just use the
yeah, because
Rico.
it's just what fits me. Like
There
the
is-
colors on.
I said something on Thread the other day. I said the moment you go Fuji, especially if you get in the X100, it's like you make your way up into a Leica. Is that gonna happen for you?
I would love a Q2 monochrome only because I shoot all black and white. But you know,
Right.
there's different opinions, and I don't know. You know, as you can see, these two are professional spec talkers. Not me, man. I just like what I like, and I'm like, oh, that handle has a different grip. You know what I mean? It's like
thought about my M6 M10 combo. I thought about, listen, that was the thing I wrestled with the other day. I literally was just like, why don't I just condense everything I have into 2 cameras? And I was like, what if I buy a new M6 and then I buy an M10 monochrome and then just buy one, and like, or like M11 and then like have one lens that I can bounce between the two. One lens, like simplify everything.
I
thought about that.
I
thought about it
several times. Anna's sitting behind the camera and we've talked about it. I'm like, what if I sell all my cameras? And how many times have I said that?
Yeah, so many times.
And the thing
What
is,
if I sell all my cameras and get one digital that does like hybrid? So like the SL2S or the SL2.
Right.
And then I get a film camera, which I'm maybe not an M6, but maybe like an MP or an MA.
Right.
Those ones.
Right.
And that's the film. And then for medium format, maybe just, I don't want to say my Mia 7 because I actually really enjoy my Fuji GSW 690, but the 670 version.
If I find a Mamiya 7, I'm doing it because the Pentax 6.7 is hurting my shoulder.
Bro, yeah.
Also,
it's heavy.
Also, it sounds like Leica needs some black ambassadors on their team because I haven't seen one yet. So, Leica, if you decide you want to...
There's a few, but we could use more.
Where are they? Europe? They don't count.
Yeah.
American black ambassador.
Yeah, they don't count. American black ambassadors.
We are going to wrap up. We have a lot to talk about. We definitely will come back if you guys would and talk about more cameras and stuff because it looks like there's a lot in here to let out.
He works at a camera store all day, so.
So, Robbie, what's your final words on your decision with sticking with Fuji, and then where can people find your work?
Man, Fuji is just, like I said, it's the form factor. It's just small. I love small lenses. I love how it feels in my hand, all that. You can find my work on IG at Robbie Ohio, one word, ROBBIEOHIO. But yeah, I mean, even if I want RICO, I'd probably just do that for street and travel. I'd still rock my Fujis for events, for everything, because they're perfect, like for what I do.
Maybe Fuji might surprise that with a full frame.
I wouldn't even need that. I don't need any of that. They could do what's the smaller sensor?
Micro Four Thirds.
Yeah, do that. I'll still kill it. Ask me about it. Let's go.
I would actually be...
I'll still kill
I
it.
could get behind the micro focus Fujifilm.
It doesn't matter what it is. It's just the compatibility. I like a small setup when I'm doing street, and I like how hands-on it is. Like, I love my aperture ring on my lens. Like, the Z, like, why, like, put the aperture ring on the lens. You're gonna do everything else and then not do that?
Yes, I was kind of annoyed with that when I rented it because it was gonna be very easy. I mean, I know they have the dial for it and the little open screen on the top that you can do that, but it would have given the fully retro style that they are going for.
And that's me not shooting film ever. I maybe shot one roll of film my whole life.
You just found a Minolta.
Yeah, in a house. Yeah.
All right, we'll talk about that next week. Maybe we'll go out and shoot a video or something.
Me shooting.
But Aaron, your final words, especially you have a GFX 100.
Yes.
I'm gonna ask one question, and then you tell us your final words and where people can find your work.
Cool.
With all the cameras that you own, what makes you pick up the GFX over the others?
There are a lot of times where, like, especially with some of the things that I do, like with the digital collaging, where I just require a lot of information because it's me stitching a lot of images together to create what I'm envisioning.
Right.
That's usually when I pick it up, where it's like there are days where I go out and just shoot. I'll shoot, 1,000 flowers, but that's when I take that camera. I take that camera for that detail, that depth. I did an engagement shoot the other day, and it was like texture. I wanted texture. I wanted that. That's when I pick that camera up. To me, my GFX is my art camera, so I don't frivolously use it. It's one of those things where it's like if I'm doing something where it means something to me, and I truly want to I want to make this the best that I can, I'm picking up the GFX. That's my tried and true.
I feel like it's like that for me for 4x5. So I'll go out and take photos around, and then even today there is a photo that I took. I'm like, ooh,
I'm gonna go back with my 4x5 and take a photo because I know I want to print that.
Right.
Not that I can't print with the rest of the cameras, but I
Right.
feel like that will mean more and like the
Right,
details
right.
that I want. From
Absolutely.
it. So anyway, where can people find your
So,
work?
so I just changed my Instagram handle. So you can find me at Xirennerix. It's XIIRENNERIIX. It's a palindrome. You can also find my website is XIIREN.ART. That's kind of just a living portfolio of weird stuff. But yeah, you can find me those places. And if you drink heavily, you can usually find me DJing at several different locations or at the skate park. So that's where you can find me.
All right, guys. There you have it. It's talking cameras. This might end up being like a whole series that we're gonna start doing because these guys up here have a lot of stuff to talk about. So, well, thanks for coming. Thanks for
Thanks
being
for
on the
having us.
channel.
Yeah, all day.
Thanks for opening up, Aaron, and saying all those stuff you said.
I'll have more to talk about, but yeah,
This will probably be my last YouTube video because my YouTube will be taken down after this.
You're gonna have a lot of your YouTube.
with a little luck, all these brands will be reaching out directly so we can say these things to their face, and we will all get canceled.
And then nobody was gonna use them or buy them, so then they run out of business.
Yep.
These will be cheaper.
Yep, Fuji's. We're gonna single-handedly
Leicas will be
bring
cheaper.
down
Say that.
the used market.
Leicas will be cheaper. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you guys. Follow Robbie and Aaron on their Instagrams. Go say hello. Mine is Edmund K. Watson. Website is kwatson.com. Thanks for being here, choosing to watch this other than anything else on this platform. See you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.
Bro, you about to have the most controversial shorts